All right, so I'm Erin Reed, and I'm the marketing manager for Polaris MEP. And I am pleased to welcome you to today's discussion about picture perfect social media marketing. We're very excited to have everybody here with us today, and we're going to try to keep it nice and quick and short, but that does not mean we don't want to hear your questions or your thoughts. Please use the chat to share them with us. For those of you who haven't worked with Polaris MEP, we are the nonprofit consulting group that is here to serve as a resource and a support for Rhode Island's manufacturing community. We help manufacturers grow, we help you improve your efficiencies, and we help you increase your profitability. And one of the ways that we do that is in our role as a resource. And that means that we match our manufacturers to experts who are in sales and marketing or other areas that you need. In sales and marketing, we're thrilled today to have our partners at VisualThrive joining us. They're going to be talking about social media marketing, which actually can be a terrific tool for business to business manufacturers, business to consumer manufacturers, food producers, all sorts of wonderful companies. So today we have with us from VisualThrive, Scott Indermar and Lori Guattari, and I'm very thrilled to be able to turn it over to them and hear some tips. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you, Erin. And thank you everyone for joining us. VisualThrive focuses on marketing for Main Street growth. And so we really make sure that we are working with businesses, either B2B businesses or B2C businesses. And at the moment, I am outside of the state of Rhode Island in my dad's house. So if you hear background noise, we're just got dogs and TVs and kids and lots of stuff going on. But I certainly appreciate your time. And we know that that's one of the most important things. I have had 30 years of marketing. I spent my initial marketing years working with manufacturers, both in the textile and jewelry industries in Rhode Island, focused on helping them decrease their costs of doing business through utilities and with the Narragansett Bay Commission around water use and environmental concerns, as well as helping those manufacturers export during when NAFTA was passed, and working with the Export Assistance Center and the chambers all over the world, the US embassies as well. So I love the idea of working with Polaris and making sure that we maintain the manufacturing jobs and that role in the state within a goods producing sector. So VisualThrive, I don't know, Scott, if you want to introduce yourself, and then I can kind of take over and go into a little bit about the social media aspect of what we do.
I'm sure. So I'm Scott Indermar, and I have by 30 years of corporate commercial photography and video, working on a local basis, but a lot working on national, international, for everything from billboards to websites to a lot of environmental portraits, which is people in their environment, or factory workers working in the factory. So I come from that background, and it's how Lori and I connected to create VisualThrive, because I have this 30 years of great visual, telling a brand through visuals, whether it's photography or video. And then Lori comes from the strategic marketing end. So we make a great team, and that's how we created VisualThrive.
Thank you. And you all will get to see some great photos that Scott took for our clients. So we'll jump right in. And why does VisualThrive start with visuals? Well, I mean, if any of you are doing marketing for the organizations and companies you work within, you know that visuals are number one. So we know that visuals get 94% more views. We know that the average person loves video and will look at a photo before they actually look at text. You've probably done it. So a lot of what we do on the strategic end of brand building is understand why visuals are so important and what types of visuals really work for which types of businesses we're working with. So I wanted to have a little interaction today. And so I guess we can do this in the chat if that's possible, or if you're all just listening, that's okay too. I'm going to go into this idea of looking at different companies' social media. And so just from the visual perspective. So these are not visuals that we've done. These are examples that we created to show the difference in why focusing on your brand is so important. So this would be the don't in the visual world. I would love to see anyone guess what type of business this company is. And I guess, Scott, if you can check in the chat and see if we have, because I'm sharing my screen, I'm not completely savvy in looking at the chat.
Don't worry, Lori, I am monitoring the chat for you guys. Okay, everybody.
All
So
right.
Lori has asked that you look at this spread of 9 photos and then tell us, based on these 9 photos, what is this company? Go ahead and put that answer into the chat.
What do you think this company does?
It's a great step.
All right,
So,
I'm gonna put my idea in. Tom says gift baskets.
okay.
I guessed edible arrangements, which definitely is a kind of a gift basket.
All right.
Sandra?
I'm not going to tell
fresh
you yet.
fruit. Fresh fruit
right.
is another guess.
Okay.
Not much is a response. Randy wins the internet. Okay, what's our next challenge?
All right.
Lori?
So the next challenge is, what does this company do? Might be a little bit clearer.
Okay. Using chat, guys, what do we think this company does based on these 9 photos? I hope that Randy will think that they do a little bit more this time. All right, you're not being judged on your answers, friends. Oh, printed marketing is one question. Another question is literature, maybe. Managing meetings.
That's great.
Catering. We're definitely on the food theme here. I guess.
I know.
This is the perils of planning this for lunch. All right. Maybe some of us were close. Lori, take it away.
Well, so as you look at this, you're going to realize that branding on your social media is really important. So all your guesses, unfortunately, are wrong, but I'm going to continue, and I think this is going to be a lot easier. So what do you think this company does? And you might know it, actually, because it's a Rhode Island company.
All right, back to the chat. Tell us what you think this company does. I think Lori and Scott might have tipped their hands with one of these photos and selections.
Yeah. Well, this is one of our clients. So we know.
So you'll be happy to know that so far nobody has guessed catering or food.
Oh,
so
that's good.
I just did get a direct message that said construction.
Good, better.
With a question mark. So you're going to have to tell us, stop keeping us in suspense. What do
Okay.
we do?
All right. So here we go. I'm going to back it up. Oops. Okay. This company is a global corporate law firm, and they focus on corporate law and employment law. And I'm going to guess that you understand that the branding around their social media has nothing to do with the brand of their company. This company does commercial real estate and focuses on leases, buying, and selling buildings. And this company also focuses on commercial real estate. So this is the before they hired VisualThrive and the after they hired VisualThrive. And so this is showing their brokers, showing how their brokers work, showing buildings. This is a Rhode Island company. And so I wanted to just give you those quick examples to show why your brand and why your visual brand on social media is really important. So this is probably even easier. So what do you think this company does? And I can probably tell you you're going to be right? So this company is a home improvement company. And all the visuals that are prepared for this company are happy customers, the team working together, the detail of the work, and then a large view of work completed. And this company is a woodworking company. And you can probably tell that based on the visuals for this company and the brand for this company is to do really fine woodworking. So I think you're getting the idea that when you create social media, and so we're looking at Instagram right now, for example, and the reason I chose Instagram was pretty much because they show the visuals. Instagram really focuses on photos. And so I just did these screenshots because it allows you to see the difference very quickly and very easily. So if you're doing B2B work, you're selling to other businesses, there are other platforms like LinkedIn or even Twitter that might be more focused on a B2B market, whereas Instagram and Facebook are more focused to a B2C market. That said, I do think that Instagram, from a visual perspective, is really doing a good job at giving a platform for branding, for visual branding of either B2C or B2B. And so this company, this is Prestige and Rugs in Providence, Rhode Island. They do both B2C and B2B. And so when you look at their Instagram or the visuals that they put out on social media, you can see they want to show a welcoming environment. They want to show a variety of different offers, and they want to show the beauty and the work that they do in the company. So the reason we look at brand is because in the digital world, we look at the website as the front door to your business. And the website doesn't change every day. So the social media component allows your brand to tell the ongoing story about what happens in your business every day. When we look at social media analytics, we know that social media, the analytics on social media tells us that your customers and your audience love to see what's happening inside your business, especially when you have photos of the owners of the business behind the scenes, or the chef behind, in the kitchen, or in a manufacturing environment. It could be that very fine look at maybe a tool maker like this. So where you see, for example, where you see a really close-up of particular tools that are being used and how those tools create the final product. And so we know that those are really, really valuable for any type of organization. It humanizes the business. We know that people love to see the people that run the business and the employees that are in the business, and that they're engaged and participating. And again, we look at analytics all the time to be sure that you, as a business owner, are understanding what's happening with the marketing that you put out. The conversion that we look at are, as in most social media, it's likes, it's engagement, it's comments, it's sharing, it's private messaging, it's links to your website. And so your website kind of sits and is updated every few months, or even every year, maybe, I hope so. But I think that the social media gives you that kind of ongoing opportunity to speak to your audience all the time. So how do we create those visuals in the best way that you can create? So if you have photos that you want to take, I'm going to turn it over to Scott, and he's going to give you 3 examples about the best way to take a photo for your business. So take it away, Scott.
So a good thought to keep in mind when you take the pictures for social media is having a human element in there actually increases engagement. People like it, comment better, and view it more. So even just a hand holding a cookie is a human element, and actually people are drawn to that. And whenever you're telling a story, I always enter a room and thinking I want to take a wide shot, I want to take a medium shot, and I want to take a tight shot. Now, in these cases, I guess I said kind of opposite. The tight shots are on the left, kind of just the hand on the guitar, and then you've got kind of the medium shots, and then the wide shots would be like the room with the sun. That's more of a wider shot. And even the 2 salespeople speaking, it's kind of a wider shot because you see what's going on, but you see kind of a little bit of the environment. So always keep that in mind. And you may only want to use 1 photograph, but always take more than you need. So if you go there and take the wide, the medium, and the really tight shot, you may only want the medium shot. And but then you may want to use all 3 of them in like a carousel on Instagram or something. Like when we go into a client and do iPhone photography for their social media feed, the goal is 30 images we walk away with, but I'll walk away with about 500 images. And I probably take more than most people, but I know that you're better off leaving with too much than not enough. So always take more, especially if it's a group of people. Sometimes someone will close their eyes, but someone's eyes are looking off or something. So if you take a couple of them, a couple shots, you got more to choose from. So always keep that in mind too. It's not like you're taking old-fashioned film and have to take the lab and get it processed and stuff. Just take a bunch of pictures and then delete them when you're the ones you don't like. Okay, I think that's it. On that part, I don't know if you have any questions on that or.
No questions so far, but folks, just throw them in chat whenever you want to, or even unmute yourself. I think Scott and Lori would love to have a conversation.
Oh, one more thing I'll add in this is most of those pictures, all but 1 of them are taken with an iPhone. One's taken with a professional camera, and all the rest are taken with iPhones. So an iPhone and Android are great. So don't let that limit yourself. You can really get really nice pictures with your phone.
Yeah, so I think, first of all, I would like to open it up to any questions around social media. I think what we were trying to do today was really give you a sense of the fact that you want your social media to reflect your brand, and we're speaking specifically about visuals today. Some of the things that we do is we make sure that obviously the captions tell a little bit about what's happening in the photo, as well as looking at hashtags. So this is something we do when we onboard clients. We look at the hashtags they're using and how those hashtags are working in the market, but also the hashtags that their competitors are using and how those are working. So if you look at any one of these photos, you can kind of think about what types of messaging would come along with that. So for example, in the top right photo, that's a commercial properties photo, and you want to give the sense of, being on top of the world and being in charge and really knowing the market. So, and then for example, the one below it, that wide one, is really just a beautiful photo of a full room and being able to look at what it looks like inside the business when you walk in, as well as within the center bottom, we're really looking at customer service, in which case this particular company really values customer service and their customer relationships.
Thanks, Lori and Scott. So I did have a couple of things come in as direct messages that I thought I could ask. And the first one is, can you talk a little bit more about how you set up tight, medium, wide?
That's a good question, because sometimes it's like automatic for me and sometimes I overlook it. So I think let's say, what's a good example here? So the top right picture, the man with the blue suit, that's probably more like a medium shot. And in that case, I did take a wide, and I don't think in this case I did, but I did take it, like you could take a photograph of just his hands holding his iPad, or you can go in close up where you see just his face, but you see buildings behind him. So that'd be like a close up. So I think every situation is a little bit different. And even like, let's say you have a conference room full of people taking a class. So I would definitely take a wide shot. May not need it, but it's there. You're telling a story. That's the wide shot. You have a wide shot of the room with 20 desks with lots of people with nowadays masks. And then you go in for a medium shot. And the medium shot could be like one table with a group of 4 people interacting and talking about their exercises they're working on. And then the next would be a picture of a piece of paper and their pen, just really tight, of them writing. So that's how you're telling a story. So if you think about that when you go into a situation, whether it's like the cookie being held, I'm taking a picture of the whole table. We see the coffee mug, and you see the cookie, and then the tight shot's the cookie, and the wide shot would be like the storefront, maybe the table out front with the open sign next to it or something like that. So
that helps. I can see how that
answered
might translate, especially to, say, a manufacturer who's producing something that's a finer piece or a part that goes into a larger, product. And so that tight shot would be right in on the tiny piece. Wider might tell a story of a selection of parts. And then wider still would be the production area. Is that kind of one of the ways you tell the narrative on that?
Yeah, and you may not want all those pictures, but it's great to come back with all 3. And I recently shot something for MG Commercial, and it was a wide of the building with the broker. And then I did a medium shot of 2 brokers talking, and I actually took a picture of one of them pointing up. It was just of his hand with the building, and we actually used that on our. We used 2. I think at least 2 of those pictures out of 3. I think we used the wide and the tight shot, because the tight shot tells a story. It's kind of generic and it's timeless, so you don't have to post it today. So that's a great way to approach situations. It's better to edit later than edit in your mind before, because you might come back later. Like before, I was like, the hand tight shot, that wouldn't have worked, and it worked out great. So
yeah, all right.
The other
Go ahead, Lori.
consideration I would say is this idea of timeless. If you look at some of these photos, you can see that some probably need to, like an outdoor picture wouldn't be, that's not a winter photo, for example, but there are others here in this array where they could be posted anytime, any season, any day. So, and in social media, you say we posted the picture of that muffin. I think it was a scone, but this is, I know.
All about food
It's a
today.
bakery. It's a bakery. Yeah. So, but that could be posted every year if you wanted, if you just go back and say, oh, we need a great shot of that. So you always have something that you can repost. Even the young girl playing guitar, that was a music school, and so they could always post that again.
That also means that they'll get more out of their investment in the photography, correct?
Right,
because it's
right.
not just a one single campaign or a one single time of year. That's
Right.
something that they can get the most out of for their brand going on.
Yeah.
So another question that I got in the chat was, and thank you guys, don't feel so shy. I mean, I love that people are private messaging me, but feel free to do a public message too.
Yeah.
But this question was, what is the most common mistake people make when taking pictures with iPhones? And I would assume iPhone or an Android, but when we're taking it with our personal device, what's the most common mistake people make?
That's a tough one. I think a lot of ones I see that people are too far away. So you're taking a picture of a person, but you're so far away, it's better to get in close. It's better to show them maybe a waist up or shoulders up instead of like way off in the distance. We're like, who's that? That's done a lot. I think sometimes backlit, like if they're inside the windows behind them, they're all in shadow. That's done a lot too. I see that a lot.
Lighting is really important, right? So you said that you took most of these with a a actual smartphone, basically.
Yeah, all of them at once.
How do you handle the lighting?
The nice thing about the smartphones is it handles the lighting better than the professional DSLR. In some aspects, it's actually easier. So most of our clients, even though I come with lots of years of professional photography, which I still continue, but a lot of our clients, we go in with iPhones and take the pictures with iPhones. It is a lot about the photographer and the experience, but you have an advantage using an Android or an iPhone, a smartphone, because it does kind of figure out that lighting for you, and it can make it look a lot better. So
I think it's interesting. Again, the next question is also about mistakes, but it says, what other mistakes do you see happening with social media pictures?
Ooh, let's go to that first example that we gave you. So the mistakes are, from a business perspective, that they're not aligned with the brand, pure and simple. I think that, and Scott, you of course can jump in on any of that, but as the one who receives the photos and then develops the content around the visuals, that's what my team does. We know that a lot of times when we always let clients submit photos, anything that they want. And sometimes we just see photos that are not, they're like fun social media photos, selfies. Selfies are great, but sometimes they don't align with the brand of the business. So fun photos, active, engaged photos are great. But when we do social media for business, we always want to make sure that it really focuses on what that business's strategic vision is, where that business wants to be. And so that's one of the reasons why we start every project with a full discovery session, like a mini strategy session. So we really understand as a team, where does that business want to be in 2 years or 5 years? Everything we do kind of leads to that.
I think that that's an interesting kind of thing for people to understand, is that photography, right? It used to be, they'd say photography was the window to the soul. Well, it does also become a window into your corporation's culture and tone. Mm-hmm. So if you guys have a corporate culture that is wild and zany and crazy, then it's okay maybe to have wild and zany, crazy photography. But if you're selling, say, very high-end, specific lockdown kind of stuff to, say, the military, maybe a little less wild and crazy is your right. corporate soul, and your photography should match, right? It should match the tone. It should align with the brand.
I think any communication 101, who's your audience? Everything we do is, what does your audience expect to see from you? What do they want to see from you? Are they actually getting everything that you want them to see from you? So if your customers are the military, let's say, you have to put that hat on, and what do they want to see so that they're drawn into the content that you're putting out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so somebody was obviously listening, because they said, should we post different types of photos on Facebook than we do on LinkedIn?
That's a great question. I think that it depends. It depends on what you're doing. So on Facebook, it's B2C, and mm-hmm. any of these photos could go on Facebook or LinkedIn. So I would say that from a business perspective, these photos are pretty aligned. If you, for example, have the woman, the trapeze woman doing this dance, that's not really a LinkedIn, even though that company is a B2B company. I mm-hmm. think that LinkedIn is definitely focused on the business end. So, for example, this photo in the front center top, that's definitely a LinkedIn photo, but so is the bakery photo if the content that's partnered with that photo goes along with what's happening. If that bakery, say, sells to distributors, they don't, but if they did, then that you would be able to see that there's content that supports that photo.
Thank you so much, Lori and Scott. I really appreciate that. So it looks like you had one more slide with some other ideas or resources as well.
So one of the things that we focus on, obviously, is making sure that, I was saying to Erin before we started putting this together, is that for us, we know what we focus on. We know that we are the experts in what we do. So I wouldn't attempt to do all my legal work for our business because I'm not an expert in that, or my accounting or my taxes. So we hire experts to support our business as an arm of our business. And so our goal is always to allow the companies to focus on what they do best. But we see in businesses and we hear our staff, they're all 19, 20-year-olds. They can take photos, they put up social media, but then the owners of the business say, guys, you can't be on your phone all the time. This is not what we do here. You need to be serving customers. So things like that. So to really understand what your company wants, what kind of branding you want to put out there, and then understand the analytics behind it. So even if you're doing it in-house, make sure you're getting those analytics and you're seeing that the conversions are driving your audience to your website and delivering them to where you want them to land from a marketing perspective.
Sounds like a good final tip. So I'm actually going to take over the screen right now and make sure that I give you guys a way that you can connect with us if you'd like to continue the conversation about social media marketing and about photography in general. So if we can help you at Polaris MEP by connecting you to resources like the folks at VisualThrive, please contact Kayla Viveros. She manages our network of specialists, including Lori and Scott, as I said. And if you contact her by either email or phone, she would be happy to find out how we can make your social media marketing pretty as a picture. Thank you all very much for joining us today. Thank you very much, Scott and Lori.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. It was
Have a great day.